Hello, this is Anton Apfel from Another Trading. This is the recap of today's Bund session, only bis till 10:30 today because I have to leave. But market give us a lot of move already without the big trading opportunity. As you can see now in a bit, everything was more or less news driven. All right, start with my hypos. Hypo 1, range long levels, the lower pre-market volume edge at 820, it was 178.73 and 178.66. This is the area of yesterday value area high. Then short, if increasing sell volume into 178.66 and weak pullback holding, targets are 57 and 53, okay? Volume into 66. And hypo 3, long, only if increasing buy volume into the 84. And then we have a target area 89 to 95 plus. This is what it looks like painted into the chart, the preparation. You see our areas getting into the value back, using value area high here, pre-market 65 to jump in, and then the target here, the volume edge and the POC area 90-95 around here. All right, what happened then? Yeah, quite interesting because the pre-market already played our hypo number 1. Range long level, pre-market volume edge 73. That means market came in here, you see they pulling back and you see a kind of breaking out of this and pulling back here to the 73, this level, range long level, hypo 1, and then they played the long, took out this area, get into this minor value from the day before, traded even this through, reaching target 1 and almost target 2. So hypo 1 already played here at this moment. That means in this situation, nothing to do but waiting for another trade. And this trade wasn't coming yet because we had to wait first for the open. And the open tells us first price got back to the downside and testing this area again. And at this moment, I told you, I'm not looking here for a long yet because first delta pushing with the open into the low. You see this here? Open. We see people hitting back and now we need to see some rejection signs. And look what happens. As price is going lower to the low of the open range, you see no responsive buying in delta. This is what it looks like here. 1 and 2, this is responsive buying, okay? But this is not. We see initiative selling into it. That means prices fell down and we waited to see that price coming here to this area number 2, 65 again, volume area low. And what we see is here that we see the first rejection of price took place here, and then we want to see double rejection, which obviously took place here. The problem was at this moment, at the rejection came, I told you I'm now spotting following, and I will show you this in the footprint where you can see it easy. Look at the level. We pulled back and now we get the possible entry. But look what happens at the moment looking at the liquidity in the order book. I'll show you. Look at this here. Some guy gave us some information that this is maybe not the best in the moment now taken on this trade. Because you see here, as we get here, the responsive buying, first rejection, second rejection, divergence in delta, sign. Normally, cheap enter now at the 67, 68. So this 3-4 ticks below, above the low. So very good, but look at this. They already tested with the pullback an area of high liquidity in 70. It was about 600, 700, 800 contracts. I don't know exactly anymore, but more than 600. And you see they traded into it and liquidity stays real. That says me, I'm careful now. I'm not gonna trade this because if I'm expecting a range market, I'm not looking here for this high liquidity provided. This looks then more like a trade pulling back to an area where we want to look more for a selling, continuation of selling into yesterday value area high. And that means this is dangerous. So see what happened. I say you can open up it anyway, but be careful if they now, even if they take it out this high, our target is only 73, okay, that's okay from the risk reward. But be carefully if as soon as they get through and no follow-up buying coming, but boom, selling, get out of this trade. Don't risk too much because we see some signs of ask power. All right, see what happened? They traded 1 and 2, they traded it out. traded through 839, taken out the liquidity, and you see what you see here. Still liquidity is provided. And I said to you, remember at this moment, we don't want to see that when they get up, we want to see follow-up buying and no big selling rejection. See what happens. No buying, sellers a little bit, sellers a little bit more. Sellers a little less, getting up, testing again, getting up, boom. And then the numbers are coming. Boom, numbers are coming. So at this moment, it was in both ways, and that's why I always tell you, read my briefing and look at them 2 days numbers, because I always provide you before cash open the numbers. And this was the German and the France numbers, and they were strong, the PMI manufacturing and service, and that was the French numbers, and they were very strong. Good for the stock, bad for the Bund. Anyway, this was no trade. Even though it hit with a lot of volume, the area for our hypo number 2, 66, with a lot of volume, this was no trade, because this was just news-driven trade. No trade so far, all right? Okay. Then some break, stabilization, and 930, remember what was expected at 930? Right, the German numbers, and boom, again, bam. German numbers also better than expected. Not so huge than the France numbers, but still better. Good for the stock market. Again, bad for Bund. And now again, stabilization, stabilization. And now you know, expected at 10 o'clock then, the numbers from the European Union. So, we are at the strong low now, in between. Here at this area. No trade for me so far, okay? We're at the strong low area here at the 22 levels was touched already, and now 21, and now we look what is happening at the 19, because if they really can take out the strong low, remember the strong low was created yesterday on Wednesday based on Tuesday's leaving this distribution to the upside with bullish momentum initiative. So that means this is important, Mark. We want to see that if we trade this short, we want to see initiative sellers to the downside, and see that people are not getting a strong bullish rejection here. So what happened? Price, and I go back to the trading window, price first waited here 955, 952. We wait for the European numbers. So they were expected the same thing, that means also a little bit stronger, but you see, boom, as the numbers are coming, that has no big impact anymore, because this was already expected, and France and Germany were more important at this moment. So, all right, anyway, you see then that the price is coming to the low. We're hitting the area of the previous low. We have some new, at this moment, look at this, boom. We have some new selling control. That means we're leaving this edge where we could look for a range low. This is why I marked it. If we see stabilization, I said, with responsive buying, we're looking here for the range long. But look at this. If we hit this area, number 1, no responsive buying, but initiative selling. As we hit range number 2, from the bigger perspective, and I'll show you here from the at the moment situation, what the volume profile was looking like. And you see clearly here that this is the area number 1, and this is the area number 1. Number 2, this means this is our edge here of the profile. This profile is drawn to this very moment before this short move started. It means our edge here and our edge here. You see here, responsive, no. Initiative selling. Responsive here, no. Initiative selling. So I told you, again, don't trade. Stay flat is also trading. So no range trade. We see instead increasing selling volume. And I told you now, what we want to see now is we have a new seller's control level. Number 1, number 2, as the ranges are not traded by responsive but initiative sellers. All right, what we want to see now. We want to see now that they even take out the strong low, and we have a weak pullback. We need initiative sellers really fast into the low, and this hasn't happened yet, because look in the delta. Boom, this was the move. Is this a strong initiative selling compared to this move? No. No sign for me to enter yet. All right. We're staying at the low. We're staying at the low. And you see what? If you have entered, then you may be not in the best position right now. Because you can see that they played it the way I expected that they play it. That the market then is not able to take out the low, pulling back, and then even increasing buy volume at the moment here, reaching this little balanced area of this shoulder. But I have to tell you, I've traded it. Why? Simple. I saw at least that we are still in pressure and in a selling mood. I see that at least some sellers are still in the game. For me, this was a lucrative trade because I see that even this selling was weaker than this before. This selling before was strong. So that means for me not to judge over how it looks like. Sometimes it's a little bit stronger before, but still better than a neutral delta overall. The structure breaks and we are in a position that we may see a very, very good risk reward getting down to this area at least 10 ticks or more. If we get really back into a sell mode and stock and DAX, for example, staying strong. So for me, it was important to see then I entered at the pullback area around here. Now I knew there is the selling control. It will not, cannot take out, I will not allow to take out the 27, 28 area. So that means short stop and good profit situation. So I watched it and I saw, boom, they only got to the 26, but not to the 27, 28. So everything okay. Trade went on to the downside. And you see, shorts, and now halfway, they cannot take out the low again. And I said, what we not want to see now is buyers coming back again. And you can look at the footprint, what it looks like. You see, okay, already providing liquidity, pulling a little bit, not looking super perfect, but I will stay in this trade as long as we don't see that they take out from the sellers with some more buying now. And what happened? Boom, buyers coming in. So this was the moment when I said, I'm leaving this trade because now we're coming back again to the area 26, 27. That means the impulse phase number one was not able to unfold and bring new seller material, but got rejected here at this moment. You see this here with the candle and then boom, new buyers came. That means for me, with a minimum loser getting out of this. But I can tell you, this was a very, very nice situation now, because if this is a rejection at the already strong low and not enough power now to take it out again, we will see now following. If people now kicking out at this moment, this neckline here, and you see they're fighting in delta for this level, you see even new pushes to the downside, new pushing to the downside, but you see absorption, see this here, pushing, but absorption. This selling at the 27 and 26 has no impact on price. That means they refill it, they absorb this selling move, and you see they staying at this level. What we then see is they try to push it even again to the downside, to the bottom, but what I told you then is we watching now, for one side is now in the situation, one side can now win this game and give us back a chance back to, and I show here at the trading window, to the POC of the day. That means unfair and getting back to the fair price. And what we need to see is, of course, it's always the same. Really, trust me, this is always the same. We want to see now that they switch after the absorption worked out, then a little bit stopped the absorption, a little bit more selling pressure, trying to fish some stops. What we need to see is that they switch to market buying. And if you see those signs that people switching back to market buying, we go into the long with the target 33. Boom. And what happened? Again, selling, now absorbed again. Boom. There are we. People getting out, fishing of shorts and switching, boom, to buying again. One could have entered here at the 20, 28, 29 area, here again, and now we're reaching the target, even got up to the 35, 34 at least. So that means when you're looking at the trading, here you see what happens. They made it, and you had this opportunity. This is what I call a W play. A W play means German Wiedereintritt, re-entering the value after not accepting lower prices. Prices advertises time, even here time makes measured that this is not really successful, as we cannot stand at the low, and volume measures the failure or success. And the failure was number one here of getting out of the trade at this moment when the delta rejected again to buyish, and then number two for a re-enter trade to trade this range back was this moment when they boom switched from the absorption and selling and keeping at this level to the scenario re-entering this range. So this is then what happened, and you see follow up, they now looking for balance, and we trade in this range and even take out this high and get back to the higher volume edge here now at 10 o'clock 52. That means everything back to normal, now balanced markets. And again, the only chance for me to trade was this short, which wasn't a winning trade, but it could be handled lucrative. And number two, the re-entry trade into this value after not accepting unfair and getting back to a fair price. And now this is what happened then. You even got one chance with target one reached. I always tell you we always talking if the scalping marked only from the first target. You could play it even a second time as we're reaching this scenario where they play it out again. You see double rejection signs, could have entered here again, reaching it again, even reached the target 2, the other side of the value. Balanced market, 1 to 2 trade opportunities till the time of 10:30 where I stopped my session. So I think you see today how important it is to stay flat. One thing to stay flat is also not being in a position is also trading. And the other thing is we wait for good chances. And this for me only happened after 10 o'clock, after stabilization. Probability rises because the numbers were over. And look, don't blame me, but look, didn't this just happen? Volatile market, jumping around, volatile market, 10 o'clock. And you see the second try here ended in a balanced market now. Thanks for watching. Anton Hopfe for Manapa.